Happy day everybody, my name is Jeremy and this is Barbecue Elementary. And today I'll be firing up the Traeger to make a smoked hot honey andouille and pepper sandwich. It's spicy, sweet, and absolutely packed with flavor. And it's perfect if you need to make something in a pinch and want it cheap but still want to feel a little fancy. Let's go. It's summer, and as a parent, my life moves pretty fast. Between responsibilities, kids, and everything in between, there's not always enough time in the day or money in the budget, especially if your hobby is slow-cooked food over fire, while filming, editing, and trying to learn new techniques along the way. So this week I thought I'd keep it simple. Something a little bit old school, but with a couple little twists that tie into things I've loved in the past, and that's how this sandwich was born. For a cook like this, you can use just about any combination or amount of sausage, peppers, and onions, and for about $16, have yourself a nice little meal. And this is what I used. 3 bell peppers, 1 orange, 1 yellow, and 1 red, and I first cut off the tops to make them flat, and then sliced off the places where they hump out to separate the meat of the peppers from the white core and the seeds. Then I took those curved slices, or humps, and just trimmed them into nice little strips. You don't have to be too fancy or consistent with this. I kind of like having a mix of sizes. It gives the sandwich a little texture and character at the end. Then into the foil pan they go. Note, get yourself a bench scrape. I finally got one and it is so nice to have. Then I snagged a pretty large and in charge sweet onion and broke it down fairly quickly into strips. While I was editing, I was watching a Joshua Weissman video that said if you sprinkle some water on your onions while cutting, you won't cry as much. And that's something I'll need to try next time. Because even though I was cooking outside, my face looked like I was watching the end of Marley and Me. You're a great dog. Apparently there are 1,000 tricks out there to keep you from crying when you cut an onion, but honestly, none of them have ever worked for me. So next time I'll just try Joshua Weissman's, and if any one of you have another idea, let me know in the comments. Maybe you just have sensitive eyes, bro. I then did a quick pass with some extra virgin olive oil, about 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons-ish of granulated garlic powder, and about a teaspoon of onion powder. Then about 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper. You can do more, of course. And then I followed it up with about 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. Then another pass of extra virgin olive oil before giving it a good toss. You'll want to make sure everything gets a nice coating in this stage. Then all I did was gently nestle the andouille into the veggies before taking it to the smoker that was preheated to 275 degrees. The idea is to just let this roll in the gentle smoke for about 1.5 hours at this temperature, and that's really all there is to this cook. About halfway through, I went on to make some simple hot honey that will act as a drizzle for the sandwich. Into a small cast iron, you'll want to use about 1/4 cup of your favorite honey, or whatever honey is in your cabinet. Then about 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes and a pinch of kosher salt should do it. Then with about 30 minutes left on the sausage and peppers, I put the honey mixture into the smoker and gave the veggies a quick toss. After 1 hour and 45 minutes of total cook time, I pulled the sausage and peppers to build the sandwich. I decided to use a baguette because I was feeling a little fancy, but of course you could use almost anything, including a hot dog bun if you wanted. Which leads me to a super important question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? What if you put it on a fresh baguette? Surely if you slice it up and then put it back on a fresh baguette with onions, peppers, and hot honey, then it's a sandwich. Right? But lucky for us, I didn't cook a hot dog, and at least for today, I'm calling this a sandwich. Once I cut the French baguette into proper sandwich bread, threw on the onions and peppers, cut up a nice chunk of the andouille, and drizzled the entire thing with some homemade hot honey, I could finally say the prep portion was complete, and the sandwich was ready for a grade. As for the cook, this one was super fast and easy and took less than 2 hours total, so I'll give it a B+. For looks, I'll give it a C-. Next time I'll use some green peppers for some contrast and toast the bun, but the most important grade of all is taste, so let's see how we did. This thing was so good. Sweet, spicy, fatty in all the right ways, and those onions and peppers were just magic in there. Honestly, it was a really solid, really simple sandwich. But it did need a little something else, maybe some extra crunch from a toasted bun, maybe a little acidity from some balsamic in the peppers and onions, so I'm going to give it a B, which brings the overall grade to a high C, low B, but I'd still recommend you try out your own variation the next time you cook sausage and peppers. And as always, thanks a million for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't to follow me along on my adventures through Barbecue Elementary.